Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Super Game Brothers podcast, a weekly podcast all about board games and video games and the games that we are playing. We call it Super Game Brothers because we are two super brothers. Game brothers? Two brothers. My name's David, and I'm joined every week by my brother Devin, live in my house. How are you doing, Devin?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't know what's new with my life right now. Let me think. Maybe getting back to streaming soon.
Oh, heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first, folks, which means it has to happen.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Been doing a lot of that, a lot of computer work, trying to clear my massive 4 terabytes of videos and stuff off of my PC, and
that's crazy.
Fixing the RAM, because back in the day when I was streaming a lot, we had a much too common issue of computer crashes. It was very frustrating. You get all these people in there, we're vibing, and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was happening all the time. And so, hoping that one day I tick the perfect box that was just what my PC was lacking.
Yeah.
Or someone just wants to send me a second PC.
And I think you kind of determined at least halfway that you think it was because your PC was like pretty heavily overclocked, right? Trying to like push rocket or games at like really high frame rate while you're also streaming, and then streaming to 3 platforms at once.
Yeah, I had overclocked that thing like 40%. Like, here's your recommended CPU usage of like 3700 hertz. I had it like 49.
Wow.
No wonder it was so hot in there.
Yeah, that it sounds like a lot. I don't know a ton about PC specs and stuff, but I imagine it will probably crash less, being running 40% less crazy.
Yeah, I lowered a lot of things. Power management. It was, just did a ton. You know what's weird about me? Sometimes I don't like learning things. I'm like, I don't want to read all that and figure that out. But when it comes to settings and tech, I will read an entire description and make sure I fully understand it and go from there. And then I'll read the next one.
Yeah.
I go through like all the NVIDIA settings in the control panel, and I will understand what each of them means and pick what I think is going to be the best. And I do not know why, but I get a little obsessed with that, and it grabs my attention. I think most people shy away from those things.
Yeah, for sure, because it's time consuming. And it can sometimes seem like the gains you get are like very minuscule.
Yes.
But at the same time, like your stream was like really high quality because you like crushed your computer, like made sure that like my webcam looks good. I've got good filters on that and on my microphone, and
contrast versus brightness, and
I've got like my settings set correctly on the game I'm playing so that I can play it and it feels good while I'm playing it, and then it also looks really good for the viewer.
Yep, low input lag, no motion blur, no camera shake, none of the nonsense.
Lots to think about. You can just start streaming without doing that, but I feel like to stand out nowadays, you have to have a top tier, pristine kind of looking thing. So I imagine that even with, your PC was like $4,000, wasn't it? So even not overclocking it quite so much, I think your stream's still going to look, 99th percentile good. So I think you're probably golden.
Well, I'm looking at your shirt here on the camera, and I kind of want to go back to NES days with Zelda and like kind of chop the bushes, see if there's any gems in there.
Yeah, when I look at it on a screen like this, it looks like the first stage on Vampire Survivors.
Okay. I can,
if you like see all the plants like just kind of really condensed down, but yeah, it's just a golf shirt. My buddy got us all, we're going on a golf trip in a few weeks, and he got us all matching shirts.
Oh,
this
no
is
way.
Kind of like a funny little joke, but this is the shirt.
Oh, so. The benefit of having friends.
Yeah, it's good.
Where are you going?
We're going to St. George.
Really? So you're going to St. George back to back?
Back to back weeks.
Oh, wow. You should just stay up there.
I probably should. If I didn't have to work, then I would. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I think we're doing like 36 holes almost every day.
Your
He's-
forearms are gonna be feeling weird.
He's crazy, but it's gonna be fun. We're doing like there's 6 of us going. He's doing like a little mini tournament with prizes and stuff, and I don't know.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's got it all planned out.
He's got all the money too. It sounds like.
Yeah. I think he does pretty well. He's he's trying to keep most of the details secret, so we don't even really know. Other than he said we'll be doing like some board game and basketball and golf like tournaments while we're there. So we'll see.
Imagine you win the tournament and Bob Barker comes out. He's like, a new car.
Yeah, there you go.
He's like, oh heck yeah,
Back from the dead.
Oh yeah, good point.
Wait, did he die?
I don't know.
He did, right? I think he did. I don't really know. What a goat though, Bob Barker. Man, Price is Right. I think is a goated game show. I think
Oh man, every part of it.
Yeah.
Even just the first part where they are taking their chance of coming up onto the stage by guessing the price, but you can't go above it.
Right.
So everyone's like manipulating. They'll see the person next to me went 99 cents, so I go
$1.
You get it.
Yep.
Yeah, that show was fun. And then the spinning wheel, Plinko, new cars.
Plinko's great. Yeah, what's my favorite game on there? Plinko's good. You got the big wheel, which is always fun, like towards the end.
Mm-hmm. You can punch through the tissue paper in random places.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Or like naming the prices of items at the supermarket. When you have to like, they give you all the numbers of how much a car costs, and you have to put them in the right order. That was one as well. What else did they do? I haven't watched it in a while. I don't think I've watched it a single time since Drew Carey became the host. No offense to him, I like him, but I like the Bob Barker days.
It's weird when game shows get new hosts. I keep seeing clips of Steve Harvey, and it makes me very sad that he's no longer doing that.
What game show did he do?
Little Family Feud.
Oh, right, touche. I also like Family Feud. That's good.
Yes, I don't know if that's considered a game show, but
no, yeah, it totally is. That one's had a few different hosts. It was that like Stewie guy or whatever his name was for a while.
From Family Guy?
No, Louis. I don't know.
Louis Vuitton. I don't know stuff.
It had a few hosts, I think. So I think that one is more used to it. But yeah, even like Jeopardy when Alex Trebek stopped, and then the Wheel of Fortune guy has been doing it forever. And once he retires, that's gonna be weird.
Dude, they punish you in Wheel of Fortune.
What do you mean?
Like, if you accidentally say a wrong letter and correct yourself in half a second, they're like, we're sorry. You said Z and not S.
I saw a clip just yesterday on social media, and the phrase was declaring victory. And he said, I'd like to solve, I'm declaring victory.
And there was no I'm?
Because he said I'm, they told him it was wrong. And the next lady, that's like a hard one where like he didn't even mispronounce anything.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that punishment. Like,
yeah, they can be kind of brutal in there. But
game shows are fun though. What a vibe.
They are. After watching Beast Games though, if you like go back and watch a game show, you're like, you're giving out 20 grand. Like, what is this? Popcorn? Like,
oh yeah, good point. Yeah, like the prize pool of 25,000.
Right. But you know, we can't all be Mr. Beast and hand out $10 million. So.
And make chocolate bars.
That's true.
He talks about him making a big mistake with chocolate. He didn't know enough or something and didn't make little break points in the chocolate. So it was like shattering while it was being packaged or something.
Interesting.
It's supposed to have break points for some specific reason. It's just interesting. You can try anything in life and you don't know all the small details of what it's going to take.
Mm-hmm. I saw another one, a video about him talking about his process trying to learn all those details. And the chocolate is like, I think the cocoa is grown and like harvested in Africa. And I guess like almost every company uses these, like the biggest cocoa companies over there, but a lot of them use child labor because they have to keep the prices down so much. And so he like had to try all these weird, like jump through hoops to try and sign with specific companies that won't allow child labor and stuff. So I'm sure there's so many like little details you don't even think about in all of these businesses.
I went to Mexico and made cocoa.
You made it.
I don't remember. This is like start as a bean, like a cocoa bean, and we like grinded it.
Yeah.
And then we were just like on the mountain. just like in a hut.
Did you have like a
grinding
guide?
it in bowls? Yeah, there's like
Guide?
one guide.
Hmm.
He just kept saying "Wappa," and we were all making our chocolate stuff. And then I was like, I don't know how to get home. I don't know,
But the cocoa's good.
yeah.
Wappa. That's hilarious. I'm a little bit afraid of other countries. I don't know why, because people are generally nice.
Agreed. I think that it's become very common to hear that. They're like, oh, it's dangerous other places.
Right.
But if you think about it, if it's so dangerous, how are people getting to age 60, to all these high ages in those other places so consistently?
Yeah, I think...
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the argument is that, like, you go to another country and they see, like, a white person who theoretically has at least enough money to travel there. So they probably have at least enough money to be worth stealing,
Oh.
So you're probably more of a target as a foreigner, for sure.
It's so weird. Oh, I don't want to get stolen.
I don't think they want you. They just want your money. Maybe they want you. Who knows? Let's see. What else is up? Anything new with you, Devin, other than the PC downscaling?
Nope. Just still been working out. Just cut my hair.
Sweet.
Just trying to stay on top of life's tasks. I just somehow I stare at my laundry basket sometimes. I'm like, I didn't put all that in there. But it's in there.
Yep.
And then on top of laundry, you like need to clean your bedding all the time, and everything has maintenance. As we talk right now, my facial hair is slowly pushing out further and further and further just to drive me nuts in a few days.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Self-care is important though. It can make you feel good and a little more motivated, and doing just simple tasks can really...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I always feel a little more confident, like, after I've cut my hair or shaved or something.
Oh yeah, you looked like a stud at Topgolf. You had just cut your hair last time we went. I was like, oh yeah, oh man.
Yeah. And then I hit that drive, like 300 yards, and everyone was like, woo dang.
Oh, it must be the hair.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it is hard. Everything has maintenance. Even we've been playing this dice throne game kind of back to back, week after week. And I'm just like, man, this table is getting dustier, like from week to week. I need to get the lint roller out, but then I have to take everything off the table to do that. And so haven't done that yet. Man, life.
Oh yeah, I almost bought a motorcycle once as my like main form of transportation. And then I worked with a guy who had a super cool Ducati motorcycle. You don't have to know what that is, but
I do know what it is.
He basically said, these are way fun, but it's a little sketchy because it's harder to see you on the road. And I was like, that's a little scary. Secondly, you need to do this with the chain and tension this and do this. And the maintenance is higher because everything's exposed rather than being under like the hood of a car. And I was like,
good point. Yeah.
I was like, you've talked me out of this. I try to lower all maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
I try to come up with systems. That's why I cut my own hair. I just get it done quickly. I have our younger brother just kind of touch it up on the back, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I like things with low maintenance as well. Which probably means we got the wrong breed of dog. But probably not actually, because there's a trade-off. You got dogs that shed. Then you got to deal with the shedding maintenance, which is, vacuuming or whatever all the time. And hair everywhere. Our dog does not shed, which is wonderful. We love that. Very hypoallergenic. We've never had anyone be allergic to him, which is cool. But his hair doesn't shed, so we got to cut that hair, and that is quite a task. But it takes like 2 hours every 2 months or something. So it's,
what would be worse is if you had to cut his hair all the time, and also he barked all the time. Like he owned the place. You know what I'm saying?
He does think he owns the place, but luckily we trained him pretty good when we got him as a baby, and he doesn't bark.
Yeah, it's amazing. I just saw a video. This couple brings their little Chihuahua-looking dog to a guy that is supposed to be able to change their behavior if it's extreme. This dog, literally, you get your hand close to it, and it just bite the crap out of you. And it did. He put his hand by it, and it latched onto the top of his hand. He instantly slammed it on the ground and held pressure over that thing and did not let it move. And just lightly let off, and he said, if this dog moves at all, I'm pushing him right back down until he's done. And just did that for the longest time, and the dog was just like looked so confused.
Nobody's ever fought back before.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't know this could happen. Yeah, dog training's funny.
It is crazy. It's crazy. Like, you have to be good and consistent, like with your training. But if you are, they'll be pretty good and consistent back. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it can feel mean, I would say, but
yeah,
goodness, in their learning years, I would say it's worth it.
it is for sure. Absolutely. But cool, Devin. I don't know what got us on that topic. I don't know that I have much new this week either. I've been to Topgolf like 8 times in the last couple weeks, which has been fun.
We're back to filming podcasts on Wednesdays, which is nice.
Yeah, that is good. My wife's back in town, so that helps. Yeah, I don't know that I have much else either. So I think we'll just hop right into Super Movie Brothers. Devin, I've only watched 2 things since last week. I'm caught up on Severance. Won't say anything else about it. Best show on TV. Watch it. And then my wife and I just caught up on Reacher season 3. We like that show. It's a little bit cheesy at times, but I like the character of like a no nonsense, I don't care what you think kind of guy.
So you have started season 3?
Yeah, we're caught up on season 3, so we're all the way caught up.
How about my favorite part so far? Is this isn't spoiling anything, but just the line, "Oh, so you're ugly and stupid." It's just like, oh, heck yeah, get him.
Yeah, and he's probably like the most ripped guy I've almost ever seen in my life.
Gosh,
and
yeah.
They know it on the show too, because they throw like as many scenes in as they can to have him like without his shirt on.
I don't know how he got his muscles to be so defined. I work out so hard, and it's just, that's a tough thing. You've got to be so spot on with everything to maintain that look.
He's got probably like 3 personal trainers, so. But yeah, he's a crazy buff dude. It's a good show. I like it. I think I like the 3rd season better than the 2nd season so far. We'll see how it ends, but I liked the 1st season a lot. 2nd season I didn't think it was as good, but it was still fun. This one I think is a step up from that one. So you're watching it too, right?
I am, but I thought the episode was going to come out today, but I think it comes out tomorrow. They were like releasing on Wednesdays, and I think the next one comes tomorrow.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, Severance is a Thursday release as well, so I think we just kind of have boom boom 2 shows to watch on Thursdays, which is kind of fun. That's it for me for Super Movie Brothers, though, Devin. Any movies or anything you've watched?
You know, surprisingly, I cannot think of.
Wow.
I know, kind of weird.
That's kind of rare.
I'm always busting out the movies.
Yeah, you are.
Did I watch anything? People are raving about some documentary about an abusive mom or something on Hulu right now. Who like just raised her children in like the weirdest way, and like I don't know if she's like in jail now or whatnot, but I don't know.
Interesting. They had that show that was what do they call it? A dramatic retelling of one of those with like what was her name? Gypsy Rose was the girl's name.
Rose.
And the mom like gives the daughter like medicine she's not supposed to have to like kind of like keep her sick because she likes the attention of like having a daughter that can't like do much. But the daughter eventually realizes it and tries to like escape and stuff. So I wonder if they have a documentary.
Was this show called Run?
No, that was another one. I think this one was called. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I can't remember. It's one of their big ones, though. That would be my guess, is they have a documentary on that now. But cool. Well, if there's no other movie stuff, Dev, I think we're just gonna hop right in.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. This is episode number 49. I don't know that I mentioned that at the top. Kind of crazy. But you can listen to our show every single week. We're almost at a year of recording the show. We have Patreon at patreon.com/supergamebrothers. And as you can see on the screen, if you support us over there, you can get our content 3 days early. You can write into the show, get your name in the credits, fun stuff like that. You can also follow the Patreon to see all these posts and stuff completely for free. So just love that people listen. Thanks so much for your support that way, but your support over there is what keeps the light on for us. So anyways, check that out. Patreon.com/supergamebrothers. And then we still have our first half of the year giveaway going on at supergamebrothers.com, kind of to commemorate our 1 year mark of doing the podcast. So at the end of July, we're going to choose a winner for this giveaway. It's a board game bundle with at least 5 different games, or you can get a gaming gift card if you would rather just have Amazon, Steam, PlayStation credit, or whatever else. So make sure to join that too. supergamebrothers.com there for that one. All right. We always start with new games to subscription services. So hopping over to Board Game Arena. Let's see how many new ones they have this week. I always forget to look at this tab, so I don't even know. Living Forest, I think, is a game that won quite a few awards a couple years ago. And it looks like there is a dual version of that game now. And it is on Board Game Arena as of March 5th. It says there's 4 different victory conditions. I'll let you read through all of those, not really bore you with much of that. I don't think that this game is out in retail, but maybe I just missed it. They do sometimes release games on Board Game Arena before the game comes out physically. I'm trying to see if they note that here, but I can't. Yeah, can't see that. Anyways, check that out. They do list here that there's more than 1,000 games on Board Game Arena now. So
to bring you some joy.
Bring you some joy.
Yeah, and that's what we're all looking for.
All right, they've got some Logic games in the Logic Games Collection. Enjoy the daily challenges mode and more. I don't know what these are, but it seems like kind of like a more colorful version of like a Sudoku. You got a daily logic puzzle challenge. And let's see. It's the same guy that designed the Turing Machine, which was also a very popular game a couple years ago. And it looks like there's a few different games. Birds, Jungle, Hotel. So check those out. And then I think we talked about Potions of Azurland last week. So just 2 new games to Board Game Arena this week. Well, I guess this one's a collection of a few. So 2 articles here. And if you want to play with us, that's one of the perks, again, on patreon.com/supergamebrothers. There is my handle, Spaceman Spiff. I like to play games on there as well. All right. Devin, what's next up? We got
a little bit of Xbox coming your way with one game I'm going to highly recommend, Enter the Gungeon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is the first half of March. If you have Game Pass, just want to make sure I got the screen showing. I do. And let's just let's scroll through all of these. First up, we got Monster Train. Looks like it's returning to the Game Pass with 1 S.
Game Pass?
Game Pass library. Brings a new strategic layer to roguelike deck building. I've heard that's an excellent game if you like games like Slay the Spire and things like that. Next up is Galacticare. You're the director of Galacticare, an interstellar healthcare company, and quasi-voluntary savior of the galaxy for cash. Who knows? Is there a picture of that one? Galacticare up here? Yeah, it's on the very right. Interesting. I don't know. I worked in insurance for 10 years. Don't know if I want to play a video game about it, but maybe it's good. One Lonely Outpost on March 6th, which is tomorrow. Turn a barren alien planet into a flourishing home in this cozy sci-fi farming sim. Kind of got the Stardew Valley farming vibes a little bit. Devin, I'll let you read this one since you were already hyping it up.
This is Enter the Gungeon, and I highly recommend you play it. There's a lot of secrets in this game. Its description here is gunfight dungeon crawler, following misfits, seeking to shoot, loot, dodge, roll, and table flip their way to personal absolution. I mean, how do you explain this? Top down?
Yeah, it's kind of like a top-down isometric camera angle. Yeah, I don't know. The game reminds me of like if you took Spelunky and mixed in like almost an infinite number of guns, and then made it kind of top-down, where it's a roguelike. It's the levels are procedurally generated, so it's different. The like arrangement of the dungeons are different every time you play, and then there's a boss at the end of each dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you stumble upon a chest that's going to have new stuff in it, like a new weapon or something, that's always fun, especially if you find like the ultra rare ones that are like black or rainbow chests and stuff. It's just an excellent game. Very, very fun. You can play it in co-op as well, and it works really well, actually, in co-op.
It really does. There's a ton of secrets in the game, too. It rewards you for playing strategically instead of just firing like crazy.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know if you remember, there's barrels of water in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just run around that room shooting the enemies, you're going to end up spilling it, breaking it, and then you're unable to roll that barrel across the map to a chimney and put the fire out and go underground.
Yeah, that's a secret you can do. Yep.
Just little things like that. It
it's
makes
excellent.
the game awesome.
It's super, super good. Next up is Mullet Mad Jack. I don't know much about this one, but it was getting a bit of hype today when they announced this. It's a high-octane action shooter that puts you directly inside a classic anime. Pick your favorite weapon and reach the last floor to beat your best time, or try again. Haste makes waste of your enemies.
Ooh.
And then one in-game preview, which is kind of like Steam Early Access a little bit. This is 33 Immortals. I forget which team is making this, but it's a team that's made some pretty famous games in the past. I want to say it's the team that made Spiritfarer, but I can't remember for sure. It's a co-op action roguelike game for 33 players. And you go into 33-player co-op battles with instant pick-up and raid matchmaking. Cooperate with your allies to survive against hordes of monsters and massive bosses. Expand your arsenal and equip powerful new relics. Kind of a cool idea. I don't have 32 friends, though.
No.
But I think it's meant to be random. Like it said there, instant pick-up and raid matchmaking, so it'll probably just put you in with people. Which, could be fun. I hope you can,
turn off voice chat.
Yeah, or start a lobby with your friends or something. That'd be fun. And then just in case you missed it, Balatro was like a stealth release to Game Pass like a week or two ago. Everyone play Balatro. It's amazing. So that is new games, Game Pass. Pretty solid listing there, in my opinion. I would try 33 Immortals, Mullet, Mad Jack, Enter the Gungeon. I'd probably try all of them, to be honest. I'm not sure about Galactic Air, but maybe it's great. Okay, on the Epic Games Store, there's one free game this week. Get out of here, screen. There we go. And I think they've given this one away before, so it might already be in your library, but it's a 2D fighting game that says featuring a cast of adorable animals. From acclaimed cartoon producer Lauren Faust. This is them's fighting herds. And it's like Tekken with cute little goats and Bambi and stuff.
It's My Little Pony.
Yeah, there you go.
Street Fighter.
Yeah, exactly. I've never played it, but I do like the animation.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, add that to your library. Prime or Amazon has still not released their list of games that will be free in the month of March, so it usually comes out on the 6th, which is bad timing. That'll probably be tomorrow, so we'll talk about it next week. But. All right, Devin, time for what we have been playing. And for me, I've just been playing some more of the Donkey Kong Country halfway ripoff that I enjoy. Whoa, with some volume on that video, yeah. Nikoderiko. And I think this is the same video segment I showed last week, but it's still good. I think I'm on World 6 at this point, and again, I feel like the game has some really strong levels at points, and then some that are a little bit forgettable. But, I mean, it's probably hard to have 50 excellent levels that always have something new in them. So I'm okay with it so far. Again, I don't think it's amazing. I think the music's really good. Some levels are really awesome. Some a little forgettable. Probably say the same thing about the bosses. Some of them really cool. Some of them just eh. But I don't know that I have much more to say about Nikoderiko. I'm excited to finish it. And I wish the platinum wasn't quite so hard. I don't want to beat every level without dying.
Right, I wouldn't either. Our What You've Been Playing section is going to be a little dry this week. I have just dabbled a little bit, haven't played too much, dabbled a little bit more in Apex Legends, reached Platinum, which is not that big of an accomplishment, but...
Sounds crazy.
It was tough, kind of.
That's a hard game, so I believe it.
It really is. Mm-hmm. But we did play a board game together, as the same board game we've played the last 3 weeks, because it's fantastic.
We did. I'm going to go down to the table. I'm just going to pause this video so that my computer will relax a little bit. Maybe I'll just hit the home button as well. That's not my home button. Contact us. Get out of here. We'll just push pause. Here we go. All right, so down at the table now, we played another mission of Marvel Dice Throne missions. With we played as 2 new characters and played this Sauron mission, which I've never seen that character in Marvel before, but
I'll look up who it is.
I'm sure he's in there. I don't read the comic books or anything. I'm aware of most of the others, like the allies we have over there, Beast and Hawkeye and Black Bolt. Like I've at least heard of all of them. Never heard of Sauron. It's kind of a cool mission though. On the front side is a Stegosaurus that you have to either fight or knock down a big tree that has more health than the Stegosaurus to scare the Stegosaurus off. And he hits really hard for like 17 damage, I think, which is more than half of what we each started with. So by attacking him, you give him these daze tokens, these exclamation marks, and that will lower how much damage he does when he attacks you. Or you can try to knock the tree down. And if you do that, that's the way you can scare the Stegosaurus off and get a perfect run. But by doing that, you're not putting daze tokens on the Stegosaurus, so he might hit you really hard. And then you fight Sauron on this side. And Devin, I think this was probably the best we've ever played, with some really lucky rolling.
Very lucky, yes.
And we both got a ton of cards that like let us alter dice, and so we had 2 or 3 turns where we were able to stop the boss on both sides of this mission board from attacking even at all, which made a huge difference. So we won, crushed the scenario. I finished with 3 more health than I started with, and Devin with almost his same starting health. And I rolled like my ultimate on the last turn, and Devin had like some crazy spells, and he did a ton of damage the last turn too. So I don't know, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it really was. It almost felt too easy because of the luck.
Because of the luck. I don't know if we would have had a couple bad turns. I do think we would have been, I don't know, in the same situation as last week where we felt like really stretched and like we were just about to lose. How'd you like Doctor Strange, Devin?
I liked him. Yeah, he's a more difficult character with some extra mechanics, just like Loki was.
I do like his spell book. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it was nice to prepare spells every turn, and
basically 7 of the 8 of them start in your deck. And so you're trying to like rush through your deck as fast as you can to get them. And I generally like characters like that in deck building games or whatever, who can really like burn through their deck to get the cards they want. So it's cool to watch you do that. I played as a pretty simple one just so that the game would kind of power forward. I played as Captain Marvel. She has some pretty easy status effects that let you re-roll defense or do some damage to every enemy during upkeep. Or this one's pretty cool. I forget what it was called. Cosmic Ray. Let you roll 2 dice and add the value of one of them to your attack. So I was able to add 5 more attack to my ultimate, actually. So yeah, I don't know. That was a fun one. I do think the game is a little more rewarding when it's like making you struggle.
I agree.
Because even though this was a fun mission, I felt like we just plowed through it. And it's still fun because you're playing like the same game, but I want it to like hit back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we just, again, because of the luck, didn't have it wrecking us as much as we want. But we just looked through the difficulty 3 missions, and they look quite a bit harder. So I think we'll maybe try one of those next time. So that'll be fun.
Well, if you've ever searched anything on Google, AI is the first to pop up now.
Oh yeah, Gemini.
And not only were we confused about who Sauron in Marvel was, but so was AI. Here's its description.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
He first appeared in the X-Men 59. Okay. His alter ego is physician Dr. Karl Lykos. He's gone by many names and roles, including the Dark Lord and the Lord of the Rings. He's also been known as Artano, Anatar, Gorthwar. He has a black hand with 4 fingers, missing one that Isildur cut off when he took the ring. That's who we fought.
That's hilarious. Oh man. I love it that AI messes up on things, makes me feel a little better about myself. But yeah, we fought Sauron. It was a fun mission. I think I liked the last mission better. Who was the boss on the last one? We did Doc Ock first, and the last one was Claw. I thought that was a cool one. But what's your opinion on this game? Having now played 3 missions of it,
I really, really like it. Due to the fact that AI in the game, basically, or just
the enemy players.
Yes, the enemy players don't have cards and things. It does limit some of the characters. I wasn't able to use certain passives with Doctor Strange because the enemies don't have cards. So I'm trying to decide if I enjoy Dice Throne better 1v1 or as a co-op game.
Yeah, 1v1 you can... Then it's like definitely more like, okay, I'm going to outthink you. I can use all of my status effects always. Whereas in this, there's like sometimes... Like when you played Loki last week, on the front side, the henchman side, you weren't able to use like the spellbind status effect. But so yeah, it is a little different just because there are some times where, because it's not a person who's drawing cards and doing like a full turn, it's just, you know, a board basically that has like their attacks. There's sometimes you can't use a certain card or a special ability.
But it's still an amazing game, and it's beautiful to look at.
It really is. The animation or illustrations, I guess, are just so great. I think it's still Manny Tremblay, and I think he had another illustration partner in this one. Let me see if I can find their names here on the rule book. Maybe it doesn't say on the rule book. Oh, here it does. Game design, graphic design, Gavin Brown, or what do we cover art, Manny Tremblay. Enemy art, Rust Moon Studios. So they had a little bit of help as well. But yeah, Manny, his art's super, super cool. So yeah, really love this game. I don't know if my opinions change much. I think it's still my favorite dungeon crawling game I've played. Just reading through some of the other boss leaflets, I'm excited for some of the weird things they throw at you later. Like the Green Goblins fight sounds pretty cool. And some of the others. So we've only done 3. That means there's 17 more. I don't know that we'll play every single one, but it is cool that there's a bit of variability there. Cool, Devin. Well, I think that's the only board game I was able to play this week too. Kind of a busy week with my wife getting back in town, and the kids had basketball games and things. So, but it was a good one. So I'm glad we were able to play that. Anything else? What are we doing now? What we're excited about?
Yeah, there's 2 games right now that I have actually watched people streaming.
Okay.
And it seems like there's a lot of love for Split Fiction.
Yeah.
For sure. The next game from the maker of It Takes Two, correct? It's just one guy, isn't it?
No.
Forget
that guy, Joseph Ferris, is like the head of the studio. But my guess is they probably have 50 employees or something.
150.
Yeah, you know, same thing. Yeah, that game is reviewing very well. Lots of 10s. People saying it's better than It Takes Two. It's the best game that company's ever made, and that It Takes Two won Game of the Year. So we'll see.
Wow, I'm gonna have to play that.
I know. I'm kind of excited to play it as well. I've still never played It Takes Two, so I need to play that one. But yeah, it looks really cool. I like the sci-fi and fantasy kind of dueling stories. And it seems like their shtick is, co-op gameplay, obviously, but then we throw like a new, like co-op kind of mini game at you like every 10 minutes. It's just like, and then tie a story like together with all that. Looks very, very cool. There was one other game that came out this week that I thought looked halfway interesting. Oh yeah, 2 Point Museum. I don't know how you pulled that up so fast. Oh. This is the same link.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be.
That's okay. But yeah, I do think Split Fiction is the big one this week. Last week was Monster Hunter Wilds. This week, Split Fiction, I think, is the big winner. So I don't know. For me, I think I'm just gonna keep finishing Nikoderiko. There's a few games on sale on the PlayStation Deal Mania sale right now that I might get. One called Kill Knight that looks pretty cool, and a couple others. But we'll see. All right, I think that's it for video games we're excited about. For board games, I'm mostly just excited to finish or play some more Dice Throne missions. I have a few other games like Apothebakery and a couple others that are going to be delivering to me in the coming weeks, but yeah, nothing too crazy there either right now.
And that brings us to the news mini nuke,
Sure
and we
does.
were correct last week.
Yep, there was the rumors and kind of leaks that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, kind of following in the vein from the 1 and 2 bundle, and this is a real thing. And I think the big news here is it comes out July, what day did I say? 15th? July 11th? July 11th. So just a few months away, which is pretty cool. I cannot remember which of the Tony Hawks I played the most, but I think it was 3. I feel like I was barely like too young for like the Tony Hawk craze, but we liked them.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I remember going like near Alcatraz or something, collecting pink elephants and
oh yeah, for sure,
hitching on golf carts and
yep,
really weird NPCs in that game.
Oh yeah,
in like mascot costumes and stuff.
And then it inspired like lots of other games. Like we really liked the Dave Murrah BMX game.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
fantastic.
Basically the same thing, just on bikes. Very, very fun genre of games that definitely has kind of gone away. It's kind of a moment in time thing, but very cool. I might have to check these out. I think that the collection of 1 and 2 was maybe like given away on Game Pass or something recently. So I might have to try those again, because I do think that would be fun. All right. Next up in the news, mini nuke. I thought this game looked pretty dang cool. This team made what's the game that I wrote down that they made? Streets of Rage 4, which is, I haven't played it, but it's supposed to be an excellent like continuation of Streets of Rage. And this one looks like it's also kind of like a brawler, but in much more of a fantasy kind of vibe here, but has the same kind of excellent artwork. And I'm going to skip forward just a little bit to the section where it kind of shows a hint of the gameplay. Let me see if I can find it. It's going to be here before I can find it, but I think it's just about here. But I think the description mentions that you can play co-op like you can in most brawlers. Has really, really cool art.
Wow.
Upgrading abilities and playing as different classes of hero. They're even riding dinosaurs there for a second.
Well, and I thought this was 2D until the character came closer to me.
Yeah, it's kind of barely like a brawler where you can kind of move forwards and backwards on the plane, but
like Power Rangers.
Exactly, or Ninja Turtles or something. Looks very cool, I think. Cool vibe. That one comes out later this year, but they haven't given a date or anything. Okay. I don't know a ton about this, and I feel like it's almost a little like bit of a bummer to talk about like layoffs every week. Because yeah. Like if that was our focus, we could definitely talk about them almost every week in the video game industry for sure. This one we'll just go through pretty quickly, but PlayStation has been hit with some layoffs. This is doing some reporting from Kotaku. And it sounds like there are 2 teams mostly involved here, but we don't know fully how many people it has affected. But PlayStation has a team called the Visual Arts team, and I can't remember completely, but I think they mostly help with like assets and help with kind of a variety of games. Like they might help Naughty Dog with what they're working on, and they're kind of like a roaming team. But due to a bunch of like game cancellations and transitioning of teams around, there's been some layoffs there. And then at another one, it was kind of reported separately that PlayStation Studios Malaysia, I think was the other one, has had some layoffs of about 18 people. So hearts go out to everyone affected there. Again, I think layoffs are kind of it would be dumb to say they're not happening because they're happening in such big numbers sometimes. But I don't want to like over focus on them either. So anyways, next up, I thought this was a kind of odd. A couple of years ago, Neil Druckmann had like an interview about The Last of Us Part 3, And he said that they've been like struggling for a while to like find the story, but they had finally found what they thought was the thread that would like tie it up in a bow, be like the nice conclusion. And it kind of made it sound like it's kind of a lock that they're working on it. We've also heard that Naughty Dog is working on 2 games. We know one of them's Intergalactic that they revealed pretty recently. So everyone assumed the other one was The Last of Us Part 3. A couple days ago, and Variety has this interview with Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, who are the 2 showrunners of HBO's The Last of Us TV show, because the new season comes out in like a month. And they ask him a bunch of questions, mostly about the show. But then, like, towards the end, they ask Neil Druckmann a question. I have it written down on the iPad, Devin, so I'm going to have you read the snippet, and I'll try and find it here, because I can't remember how far down it was. But if you can just read section A there on that, that would be super.
Then there's the long whispered possibility of The Last of Us Part 3. I was waiting for this question, Druckmann says, sighing. When I bring up the prospect of a 3rd game, I guess the only thing I would say is don't bet on there being more of Last of Us. This could be it.
Thanks for reading that, Mr. Druckmann. I think this is a feint, and I think that they're definitely working on it. Kind of surprising, though, that he would say that. This has been picked up by like every video game news outlet in the world. Like, oh no, they're not making the 3rd one now. I still think they are. I think that obviously PlayStation is pretty strict with like NDAs, and like obviously don't tell the media until we're ready to like release the trailer and show it at a big presentation and showcase so we can get the most buzz. And I feel like maybe he's just like said too much last time, and so this time he's like trying to shut it down a little bit. But I don't know, I would be incredibly surprised if they didn't make a 3rd game, just because I think they've got everything kind of lining up now. They have Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2. They just did Part 1 in the first season on HBO. They're making Part 2 on HBO, and they said it will take at least a couple of seasons to tell the full story of Part 2, because it's a much longer game. And so that time would give them a Naughty Dog enough time to make Part 3 while HBO's finishing Part 2, and then like have Part 3 on HBO like shortly after or something. I feel like Sony would be so interested in that synergy of like, everyone's obsessed with our TV show. We've got to have a game that we can make $1 billion off of. Ready for that. I don't think they'll pass up that opportunity, even no matter what Neil says. But anyways, I think this is a feint isn't the right word, but it is a word for it. It's a what do they call it when like you're a, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
He's bluffing, I guess, is another way to say it that isn't the word I'm looking for. But anyways, that was kind of an interesting thing this week. I'm very excited for season 2 of The Last of Us. The article is pretty good if you want to read some more details about that. Just really quickly, PlayStation announced that they're opening a new beta program at PlayStation, where instead of like signing up for each game's like individual beta, you can just sign up for the beta program at PlayStation, and then any betas that are available in your area, I think you'll be automatically like entered for. It doesn't mean you'll be chosen for it, but entered for it. It says it will create an easy, centralized place for you to register your interest in a range of future PlayStation betas.
I think that's a much better system.
Because like every time like even like Elden Ring Night Rain is beta, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. I might want to try that out. But I like forget. I'm like, I'm not gonna go sign up for that thing and that thing. So it would be cool if they were a little more consolidated like that. So there are a few requirements. You must have a PlayStation Network account that's in good standing with the email address. All of these things kind of make sense. You have to be in a region where the beta is available, and you have to be of the right age. Free to join at PlayStation.com/beta program at PlayStation. There's a little quick one there. Next up, Monster Hunter Wilds, like we said last week, was definitely the biggest release last week. And just kind of some quick news here from Capcom. It sold over 8 million copies in the first 3 days. It's their fastest selling release ever. 8 million. It's crazy how much Monster Hunter sells, like just dwarfing how much like Resident Evil sells.
Yeah, because I'm a much bigger fan of Resident Evil.
Ditto, but Monster Hunter just like runs laps around how much Resident Evil sells.
Wild.
It's crazy. So it's, I think, what's the one prior to this? Monster Hunter World? I think it sold like 25 million or something. It took years to get to that point. So this one is taking off faster. So it'll be interesting to see if it lands even higher. Crazy how important this franchise has become for them. But, shout out to them. It's supposed to be excellent. I don't know if it's for me, but it's supposed to be excellent. Okay, Mario Day is coming up, Devin, on the 10th. That's a Mario.
Oh, I see what they're doing.
Yeah. So they do like some promotions every year. This year, they're going to have a few of their games on sale. This is pretty rare, to be honest. Nintendo does not put their games on sale. They know that people play a Switch to play Mario Kart and to play their games. And so even today, if you want to buy Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for your Switch, it costs $60. I bought that game 11 years ago for my Wii U.
For $60.
I think it was 50.
Oh, it's gone up.
So it's gone up. I'm pretty sure that's right. Their games just don't go down in price. It's kind of crazy that they can do that, but it is true. Everyone comes to Nintendo to play their games. So some brief discounts here. On the 9th of March, these games will be discounted, I think, for like 5 days. I swear they had an end date here. Maybe it's just for 1 day. Anyways, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Super Mario RPG, Princess Peach Showtime, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD will be discounted $20 from $59.99 to $39.99, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong will be $29.99. Those are some pretty good discounts. I have all of those games except for Super Mario RPG and Princess Peach, but those two I've been thinking about getting. So they make good stuff, Make such good stuff, everyone will buy it at full price. Kind of crazy. I'm not sure when those sales end. I swear it said on here. Maybe it doesn't though. So it might only be a day or two. So watch out for that starting on the 9th, which is 3 days from now. All right. Are we out of the news?
We are out of the news.
All right. Send me that first page here. I don't think there wasn't any like board game news really. There are always like board games being like very sneakily announced. And some of them look pretty cool, but I can't like show screenshots or talk about every game that's just like a picture and isn't coming out for a year. It's kind of a hard thing. So there's not usually like as much board game news. I feel like there's just not as many people or media companies like talking about board game news as there is about video games, and things leak from like video game companies a lot more often. It's kind of weird, but that is going to bring us to Crowdfunding Corner for the week of March. I think it will be the 7th when this goes live. There are 5 games this week that I wanted to tell you about, Devin, and just kind of chat about. These ones are on Kickstarter and GameFound, and their projects end in like the next week to 2 weeks-ish. First up is this game called Spokes. When I first saw this, I was like, oh man, is that some more AI art in a board game? And it's not. It's actually very pretty hand-drawn art. They have a great artist that does it. And so I almost skipped the whole project. I really like the art, to be honest, but when I think of AI art, that looks like something an AI could make.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know why. But this game's called Spokes. It plays 1 to 6 players in about 30 minutes. And it has a very unique board and kind of vibe. So you each have your own bicycle. And on your bicycle, you have 6 spokes, hence the name of the game. Let's see if I can find a good picture of the spokes. Here we go. And there'll be different colored pieces. And on your turn, you move your little cube 1 to 3 spots forward. And then the last spoke that you hopped over, you pick up and then put it on the board, replacing a different one, and take the one that you replaced and put it on your bike. So you're swapping your spokes out with the spokes on the board. The board, oh, it shows it here. The board makes up the racetrack, and I think it's the first player to do 3 laps wins. After you replace your spoke on the board, then you can move your bike, which is shown by this kind of cylinder piece. Unless you get the deluxe version, it does have a bike on top, as far along a single colored path as you want. So by you taking the spokes from your bike onto the board, you're trying to like make long pathways that you can move through, or maybe break up other ones that other people can't move through. If you land on an opponent, then you get to like slipstream them and take a wild card. And so it's kind of just like an abstract race game where you're trying to get around the board 3 times. Like it said, it plays pretty quick in about half an hour as a solo mode. Much different game than I thought it would be. When I saw the cover, I was like, I wonder if it's going to be kind of like Heat. This is very, very different, but I kind of like the colorful vibe on the board. Probably pretty inexpensive to make. That's why the pledge isn't very expensive. Cubes and some longer rectangles. What would you call that? A little road piece? I don't know. And plays 6 players. It's pretty cool. So that's, folks. Again, there is a deluxe version where you can just get like a little wooden upgrade for the base version for $5. I think that one looks like it could be pretty fun time. So that's Spokes. First up this week. It's on Kickstarter for 12 more days until March 18th. Next one is a big one. Again, I'm not a huge fan of dungeon crawling games, but I really like Souls-like video games. And one of them that I haven't played more than a couple of hours, but I really want to get into, I think it's a little dark and violent. I generally like games like, Hollow Knight and Nine Souls were kind of like my vibe. But Blasphemous is a very well-known video game in that genre. There's actually a sequel, Blasphemous 2 now, and this is Blasphemous the board game. It says competitive, but it's kind of like semi-co-op, where you're all trying to like level up and defeat enemies, but then whoever completes the victory condition of the mission is the one who wins. So you're like semi-co-op, you're halfway working together, but you want to work together better than the other players. I'm not going to scroll too much through this page because much like the video game, again, very mature and dark. There's a bit of nudity on the miniatures, but let me see if I can... there was a section that showed like just how it plays. And you have a very cool player board. Let me see if I can just find that really quickly. Where is it? How to play. Maybe it was just game overview. So you're moving around exploring this same area from the game. I think it's called Custodia. And there's different regions, and then you'll be fighting lots of enemies. And eventually, as you like defeat enemies, you gain, it's not victory points, they call it like divinity, I think. And you have this cool board where you choose your character, and they're all a little bit different, and they slot inside this thing, and you get these cool cards on the side that also give you upgrades. I really like how the board looks, player board, because like everything's double layered, has like a spot for everything. And similar to only one other game I've ever seen, this game uses a ton of dice for your actions and combat and movement, and you can upgrade your dice. And the way that they handle it is similar to another game I have called Dice Forge, where you pop the sides off of the dice and can, by getting better cards and stuff, place new... Yeah, there you go. That's a good image.
Wow.
Pieces on the sides of the dice. I really think that's fun.
This game is definitely expensive.
Oh, yeah. You can see the the all-in pledge is 300 euros, which would be like, I don't know, $340 or something. They do have a slightly less expensive version, but it's still like 180, I think. So it's expensive, lots of miniatures, It's a dungeon crawl, big expensive pieces, cool dice though. The gameplay system looks pretty cool, where you're like moving around. When you do get to the boss, let me see if I can go back up and show you the boss board. Oh yeah, there you go. You like slot the boss for this scenario onto this separate arena board, and you move onto that to fight them, and they have their own miniature and backdrop and their own deck of cards, and each of them fight a little bit differently. Some of the scenarios you don't win by completing or defeating the boss, you win by some other condition. So it seems like there's a lot going on in there. In like the 2 different rewards, you have like the $300 one that has 5 expansion stretch goal boxes, so there must be a lot of content in there as well. Or they have it's only 135 euros for the base one that has not the 5 expansions, but has the base game, the stretch goals, and I don't remember what that little box is, but probably like a little mini expansion. And then they're, getting a bunch of stretch goals with extra enemies and stuff. Very big game, like GameFound does. But since Blasphemous is a video game IP that I think is cool, kind of care about, the gameplay system looks like it could be cool. I wanted to bring this one up again, even though dungeon crawler games are not really for me. I think I'd have fun playing this one though. I want one of my friends to buy it, and then I'll play their copy. That's Blasphemous, the board game. Cool kind of Castlevania vibe if you took it like, very gory direction. That one's on GameFound until also the 18th of March. Okay, next up is one called Cities of Venus Survivors. This is a standalone, I don't know if expansion is the right word, but a standalone like sequel-ish to another game called Cities of Venus, different subtitle that I can't remember. It plays 1 to 6 players, and they say it's medium light in here, and you'll be rolling a lot of dice. You're like a crashed robot on a planet, and you're trying to save other survivors who like crashed down as well in their cryopods. So you're rolling all of these dice in order to move around and upgrade your like robot, I believe. And then let me see if I can show some better pictures here about the gameplay. Cool thing here is everyone takes their turns simultaneously, and then when you're done with your turn, you flip like your robot to the other side to show that you're done. I like games with simultaneous turns. We've been playing Dice Throne missions, and it is nice to just be able to, do our own stuff at the same time. So you're not waiting for me, I'm not waiting for you. So cool thing there. Playing and manipulating tons of dice, trying to roll sets. Kind of has like a Yahtzee vibe that way, which I like the Yahtzee system. We just talked about Dice Throne, one of my favorite games. That system just kind of works well for me. This one is, I think it looks pretty good. The thing that I'm most intrigued by is the win condition in the game. There aren't points. You're not like gathering points. By upgrading your robot, finding these survivors, getting resources, exploring the map and stuff, you're eventually gathering fuel. And fuel goes at the top of your board in this little section here. I'm not showing it very well. You probably can't even see my mouse. I don't think you might have my mouse recording on the screen. Let me see if I can. I just want to show a picture of the pledge tiers here. I can probably show the board in the pledge tiers. Yeah, at the top of the board here, there's a track with 5 slots. And you're gathering fuel by like upgrading and moving around, getting resources, rolling good rolls with your dice. Eventually, someone will get 5 fuel. That will trigger the end of the game. Then, up to that point, everyone's been taking their turns simultaneously. Then for the last turn of the game, you no longer take them simultaneously. You take them one at a time. And you get dice equal to, I think, your starting 5 dice, plus 1 die for each other fuel that you have. So if you were able to be the person who got 5, you'll have, I think, 10 dice. And then whoever can get the single best roll on that last turn is the winner. So you're building up and building up and building up. in order to have more dice to help you have better chances on the last turn. And then all of your special abilities, like on the left, will help you to like change the die values on the last turn and whatever. So you're building up this engine and then trying to pump as much like speed into it to get the fuel as you possible, so that on that last turn you come away the best.
That is a cool ending because everyone gets to participate in the end game.
Yeah, and you do it. That's the only part of the game you do one at a time. I've never heard of like a game doing that kind of swap of the ending. Like you play it very specifically one way until the last turn, and then you do it very differently. Kind of an interesting idea. There are some games that do things like that, like Let's Go to Japan, where you have the turn at the end where then you show your plan that you've made, your travel plan. But kind of a cool idea. I need to read a little bit more about like the gameplay and stuff, but it has pretty cool pieces, nice trays for all of the components that holds everything pretty nice. It's a little bit expensive of a game. I think the base version is about $80, but it does look pretty cool. They have like a fancier version that has 6 players components in it instead of 4. So take a look at that one. Just based on that win condition, I think it's kind of a cool idea that I would like to try out. That one is Cities of Venus Survivors. It ends Wednesday, March 19th on Kickstarter. All right, do we have 2 more? I think we have 2 more.
Dos más.
Yeah. Next up is one called Champions of Wind and Fire, with the subtitle The Epic Dragon Building Game. In this game, you're trying to, like that says, kind of train a dragon and improve your dragon so that when you compete in these little mini tournaments, you win, and whoever gets the most trophies from those mini tournaments is the winner. There's a lot of components on the game. Each player has their own board with their dragon that I'll show you in a minute, and then this board with the, kind of this triangle of different like runes, and you're trying to gather those in order to upgrade your dragon. And the way that it happens is someone will roll a bunch of dice, and then they'll be put in these different groupings, kind of like a Zool, where the pieces are put on different like factory circles. And then you can take all of the dice from one of them. So dice drafting system I like. And then you get to activate kind of the top face of those dice that were rolled. Yeah, you pick dice, then you build those patterns onto your triangular shaped board. Or you can collect bonuses like gold and stuff like that, and you use both of those to make your dragon better. You have your own dragon board. You can see it kind of small there. I think there is a bigger picture of it here. Nope, that's the main board. Here's some of the tiles that go on the dragon board. Here's the dragon board as well. Oh, I swear it's here bigger because they show the dragon upgrading. I think, yeah, here you go. As you upgrade your dragon from matching kind of these specific patterns on your board, then you get to upgrade your dragon. And I think there's 3 parts: the head, the wings, and the body of the dragon. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I like the idea there. Then, last up, eventually it'll be time for a tournament, and whoever has the most strength in kind of whichever dragon and type of, I don't think these are called relics or runes, but this element type, it looks like, will win the tournament and get some of these victory points as trophies. There is an advanced game mode as well. I think the pieces look really cool. The idea looks intriguing. I just want to like watch a playthrough of it because I don't know. It seems cool, but I wonder how much like gameplay depth there is there when like it's, okay, I take a few dice, I put some pieces on this kind of triangular element board, and use that to give my dragon a new head. Next time I play, am I doing the same thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like you had like 2 options. You choose your emerald or you choose the gold. And everyone, to me, it seems like that would go the route of everyone ends up being similarly strong.
Right.
Unless the dice play a huge role.
Yeah, or if the advanced mode I think it adds like some bidding. You can like bet on who's going to win the championships and stuff. And so that might be unique in that, like, okay, I know that I'm not doing very well, but Devin is. If I bet on him, am I going to be able to get a bunch more gold so that then I can upgrade my dragon? So maybe the advanced mode kind of adds some more to that too. I think the theme is cool, and I think the pieces and the production value are what are pulling a lot of people in. It has a pretty good smattering, is not the right word, pretty good amount of backers. Was it 2,000? Yeah, 2,200. Raised about $200,000 so far. So that's Champions of Wind and Fire, if you like dragons, until March 21st on Kickstarter. Then last up, again, not a huge fan of dungeon crawlers, but this series, Tiny Epic, is super, super famous, well known. They've had tons of them. One of their latest ones, I think, is this Dungeons mode. And this is a new expansion to that Dungeons mode. And man, it has a ton of backers, almost 11,000. The Dungeons mode prior to this expansion had 41,000 backers and raised $2.1 million. It's crazy. So this must be a very successful system for them. Like I mentioned, this is kind of an expansion that can be used together with that previous campaign. And there's quite a few different, like even add-ons or further expansions you can get here, but you move characters around this board fighting. I think this one is cooperative, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me go back up to the top and just make sure, but I think it's cooperative. Oh, come on, tell me. Campaign, dungeon. That's a good question. I cannot remember. I'm pretty sure that it is. I'm surprised it didn't say up there. Another one of their sticks here with Tiny Epic is they always fit them in like a very small box. So you'll notice most of the pieces here are like pretty small. This is like the map booklet, and it folds up really small. These are like some of the pieces. There are miniatures for each player, pretty small ones, but try to pack a big game in a small box is one of their hallmarks. I haven't played this one. It looks pretty cool. You have to have keys now, and bombs can like blow up walls in these new expansions. There's an adventure booklet. If you have to close your campaign earlier, they have these special envelopes you can like close pieces in to save your progress between runs. There's, like I mentioned, another expansion here, the Phantom Voyage on like a ghost pirate ship. So yeah, I think you probably know already if this is a game for you, but different heroes have different stats and abilities, and they've unlocked some, looks like 4 additional ones through stretch goals. And then there are, in the expansion to this expansion, even more heroes, I believe. Let me see, where was that? Yeah, here. What's in the expansion? 4 more heroes and their mats, and then 4 more have been unlocked through stretch goals. So lots of stuff in here, if this is your kind of game. So, anyways, that is Tiny Epic Dungeons Adventures, which is compatible with, I think, the Tiny Epic Dungeons system and everything that's been there. This one has 15 days left. Also ends on Friday, March 21st. Okay, Devin, that brings us to Pick of the Week for Crowdfunding Corner for the week of March 7th, 2025. Devin, what's going to be your Pick of the Week this week?
After 40-something episodes of Crowdfunding Corner, I would say this is the hardest week for me. I don't know. We've got a couple dungeon crawlers. The dragon one looked interesting, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Spokes, it looks interesting, but I don't know that I would have as much fun as I would playing a different game. I think I'm going to choose Blasphemous just because of the genre.
Yeah, you like that gothic vibe.
Yes, you throw gothic creatures and horror in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like you said, you want someone to buy you this game. I want someone to learn this game for me so I don't have to read the rule book.
Yeah.
And simplify it so that I'm ready to play it.
Yeah, there's actually 2 rule books. I skimmed through them just to see. I had a question about like the victory conditions and stuff. And there's a main rule book that kind of breaks down like setup and how a turn flows and that kind of stuff. And then they have the second rule book that they call the where is it here? Oh, the rule book was in here. Where are you? Art, video, stretch pay. What? Oh, right here, rule book. The second one is called the Breviary, and it's a rules compendium of the game rules in alphabetical order. They're both about 35 pages each.
Oof.
So, there's a lot of pictures and explanation, like to explain that way, but yeah, it's definitely not, this phase 10, this is not. So I get it. But yeah, the vibe is definitely a Devon vibe through and through. This is a tough week for me too. I think that I think I'm gonna go with Cities of Venus Survivors though. It almost went to Spokes. I think that one looks really cool and like minimalist and like a simple abstract racing game. But this one, I think just because I'm trying to picture like the feeling of that last round and how it would go. If you're playing with the right people, I think that could be like a very fun, dramatic like ending to a game, which sounds really cool. You might have some games where it's like a little bit of a dud, where you're like, well, he is so far ahead of us, the chances of any of us. But because there's a little bit of luck involved, I guess you still have a chance.
Even the person that played the best could still lose.
And maybe that's the dud. If you're the one that played way better than everybody else, and someone else has
you're like, I don't like this game
a better
anymore.
roll than you on that last roll, then maybe that's a little disappointing. But hey, props to them for going with such like a bold, like victory condition, because it's very different than just I got points for everything I did and I beat you by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be my pick of the week for uniqueness, I think. Cities of Venus Survivors. And that is going to do it for Crowdfunding Corner for the week of March 7th, 2025. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for episode number 50 of Crowdfunding Corner. For our audio listeners, we're going to say farewell to you now. Appreciate you, but we're going to end with the Gamedle. Like we have the last few weeks. I think we'll do this for a little bit until we maybe start seeing duplicates on there. It'll be good cutout content for the Super Game Brothers YouTube and Instagram and TikTok channels. So once I'm able to get there, edit it. So bye, audio listeners. Bye.